Hi everyone, I'm Lynsey Henry and I'm back for another live event with Stigma-Free Society. Now, just to remind you, please take a moment to read our video disclaimer in the video description box. And we're just looking out for you and your safety during this tough time. So once again, I'm Lynsey Henry. I'm a registered clinical counselor and I also work in Surrey elementary schools. So that's grades kindergarten to grade 7 as a school counselor. So looking forward to talking to you today about an important topic, cyberbullying, and it's also World Mental Health Week this week, so I wanted to show you some activities around that. Just a reminder, we're doing these live events for you, so if anytime you have questions or comments for me, please write them in the comments box. And this is all around our new Stigma-Free toolkit and the new wellness toolkit coming out very soon. So that's at stigmafreetoolkit.com. And there's lots of great resources and all the new ones being added really soon. So look out for that. And just also wanted to remind you, our partners, Amanda Todd Legacy, they're doing an auction right now until October 14th, and they have lots of great items up for bids there for their charity. So check that out as well. So why is World Mental Health Week important and cyberbullying to talk about? Well, overall, it's important to recognize the impact that cyberbullying really has on our youth in this digital age. And we are using our devices and technology so often, and this really has a huge impact on young people and their interactions with peers. So I thought it was really important to discuss this week for World Mental Health Week. All right, so I have a couple definitions for you just to distinguish between cyberbullying and sextortion. So cyberbullying is using online tools like websites, social media, or texting to hurt, humiliate, or threaten others. And some of these situations might include posting or sharing false information or images of someone that will cause harm to their reputation. So that might include sharing photos, texts, or emails without their permission, and repeatedly sending someone nasty, mean, or insulting or threatening messages, or just pretending to be someone else online and using someone else's personal information without permission. Maybe it might include excluding or banning someone from certain online games that are really popular right now, or different chat rooms, social media pages, and so on. Creating a website, a post, or a poll to rate someone by their looks. For example, asking people to like a photo if they think that person's a loser. So that would have an awful impact on a child or youth's self-esteem. Sending viruses or malicious code to damage someone else's device. So that's what cyberbullying is. Sextortion is different, and that's when online predators convince a young person to take sexual photos or record sexual acts. And they threaten to post these photos or videos online unless the person pays money or provides more inappropriate material. In most cases, young people that get involved with sextortion and this type of situation think they're talking with another young person, when in fact, behind the screen could be anybody, an adult, someone in a different country even. So this is really scary to look out for parents in particular. Well, I wanted to share with you a bit of my experiences with cyberbullying in elementary school. So when I was in grade 7, I had the same group of friends all throughout elementary school. And coming into grade 7 in the summer, prepping for high school, a group of girls that I was friends with were sending me mean messages on MSN Messenger saying they didn't want to be my friends anymore, and going to high school they wanted nothing to do with me, just calling me mean, nasty names. So that had a huge impact on my mental health in going into grade 8, which is already kind of a nerve-wracking experience for any youth. So going into grade 8, I was really nervous because I didn't have that group of friends to hang out with after all these mean messages. So I ended up finding a new group of friends, and I really value this group of friends today. And we are still really close friends as adults. So in the end, it turned out okay, but the impact of this cyberbullying could have gone a lot worse for me. Another friend of mine, a close friend of mine, in grade 7 as well, in the summertime, a girl sent an email to the whole class group, and the photo image of my friend was edited and circled in pink, and calling her fat and ugly and all kinds of horrible insults, and was sent to the whole class before grade 8. So I, as her friend, really noticed this impacting her mood going into high school and her mental health. And she really struggled with that cyberbullying as well. Now, thinking back, when I was in grade 7, there was only really MSN Messenger and email. There was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, and that sort of thing. And now there's so many other different social media apps and avenues to target other young people and cyberbully. So I think it's really important to talk about right now because there's so much more opportunity for that. And as a school counselor, sometimes I come in having to deal with some different situations where mean exchanges have happened with students on their devices, and principal and vice principal also have to get involved with these types of issues. So lots of experience, and this is happening a lot, so that's why it's so important to talk about. So parents, you might be wondering, well, what kind of resources are out there to help support my child if I feel like they're being cyberbullied or something like that might be going on, like the sextortion, sort of luring happening online, or what's some different safety things I can do for my child? Well, some really great resources. One is Erase Bullying from the government of BC, and they have a specific section on online safety guide for parents. And it's actually a really good tool in having conversations with your child around those online safety measures that you can put in place. So I'll post that in the comments section at the end of my presentation for you to check out. And I thought it was really helpful. Another resource for parents that's coming soon, there's actually a documentary called The Dark Cloud and the High Cost of Cyberbullying. And this is going to be released Saturday, October 10th, which is actually World Mental Health Day and Light Up Purple Day. And so that documentary is all about this growing epidemic affecting the lives of young people, the toll of cyberbullying, and just online trolls and digital antagonism. And this is told through the eyes of Carol Todd, who's the mother of BC teen Amanda Todd, whose suicide after years of bullying and cyber stalking became a flashpoint for global action and gained her the label, the girl who woke up the world. So I'm definitely going to check that out on October 10th and perhaps even share it with some of my teachers and my students, just so they can see. I love playing videos for students, and it's just so engaging, so they can see that in video form of what happens when you're getting cyberbullied and the impact and different resources around that. There's also Amanda Todd Legacy, which I posted at the beginning of the presentation, and they are doing that wonderful raffle, and they have a bunch of different items up there for auction, and they also have a lot of resources on their website, including the YouTube video of Amanda when she shared her struggles with cyberbullying, and it's really powerful video, so I recommend that you check it out. And those auction items are up for bid until October 14th. And on the Amanda Todd website, there is lots of resources, store items, and more different support for you. So check that out. I actually saw Carol Todd present at a workshop, a fundraiser for Moving Forward Family Services last year, and she spoke to the crowd, and it was called Be the Love presentation in February. So that really touched my heart, and watching the Amanda Todd's video and hearing those powerful and touching words from Carol Todd. And yeah, I really related and connected with that and her experiences with cyberbullying. So some resources now for schools and for teachers for you to check out. One presentation that I've heard of that was supposed to come to my school last year before the COVID-19 happened. They were going to come at the end of spring. It's called White Hatter. So you can try and get them to come to your school and do a presentation. And that's about online safety and cyberbullying. And they actually have some virtual programs right now too. Because of COVID-19, they can't go in and present at school, so they have virtual options available for both teachers, schools, and for parents. So check them out. Once again, the Erase Bullying website is also good for teachers and schools because they have some great posters and resources for schools, like kind of different activity suggestions to spark conversation. Another one that I like to use is called Kids in the Know, and they have a lot of stuff around general safety, and it's specifically also online safety. So this guide here, Parenting Tweens and Teens in the Digital World, I picked up, and you can get them sent to you, mailed for free, these resources for school counselors, teachers, schools. It's good to have these type of guides on hand for parents when they want something tangible to look at for tips. So there's some really good tips in here about being teens and tweens being exploited online, safety discussions, just different regulations, common tactics used to watch out for, and just how to seek help with all of that. So that's the Kids in the Know, and I'll also post that resource in the comments section after my presentation. And oh yeah, they also had a really cool comic that I didn't know about, so I checked that out the other day. That was for grade 3 and 4 students around internet safety, because you really got to engage kids with these conversations, and I like the idea of using comics. Stigma-Free Society uses a lot of great comics for youth as well, and like I said, we have our new toolkit coming out very soon with more topics as well as lessons for teachers, and bunch of different resources around bullying and just mental health in general. So for school counselors, something I'm doing this week to promote World Mental Health Day is I created some different worksheets, and I want to share them with you at the end of my presentation, and we can do an activity together that I created. So just promote those different important weeks to your school and come up with some different activities to really show them what mental health means and what Light Up Purple Day is all about on Saturday. I also really like to show videos. There's a good one from the Anna Freud Society called We All Have Mental Health. And of course the Stigma-Free Toolkit mental health videos with more coming soon. I like to assist with lessons on cyberbullying and just go into the class and help and support teachers with those lessons. There's some good ones from the My Friends Youth Skills. It's like a textbook that many school counselors have, and there's some lessons and resources in there that are really great. I'm just going to show you a few quick handouts here, and then I'm going to take some questions from you. I want to hear what you want to know about cyberbullying or questions you have around mental health. So these are some of the resources from the Kids in the Know website, what to do if you think your child's being cyberbullied, and it really breaks it down well here. First step, discontinue the contact, make sure your child doesn't respond to the bully. Good advice here. Second step, addressing any sexual pictures or videos that have been posted online and trying to contact the site to take those videos down. So that's the sextortion piece. Reporting the bully to your child's school, reporting the website to cell phone providers, reporting the bully to the police if possible, reinforcing the importance of friends and what a good friend looks like, and just the value of not discussing things online. I find sometimes teens and youth come to my office and they're trying to deal with problems with their friends online and through texting. And we all know how those things can be misread and actually made worse through texting, when a phone call or an in-person conversation is always best. Okay, here's another handout from Kids in the Know, just about apps, what to know about apps, safety things to look out for with apps, phone safety tips, and just different guidelines around that for parents. This is a good one for teachers, has some different scenarios. So you could break your class into groups and discuss these different online safety scenarios and how to best respond. So that's really good for teachers. All right, so I'm going to pause here for some questions, and then I'd love to show you the worksheets that I designed and do a quick activity with you. So I'm just going to scroll down here to see if I have any questions. Hello, everyone. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Maddie. I don't see any questions here quite yet about cyberbullying. Maybe I'll double check on my phone because I know sometimes we have technology issues here. So let's just make sure. And then I'll show you my activities. Yeah, no questions yet. That's fine. I will move on with my activities and worksheets to show you. I'm also going to link them in the comments section below. So if you're a teacher Or if you're a parent and you want to print off the worksheet at home, that you can certainly do that. All right. So the color for World Mental Health Day is purple, so I decided to back my worksheet here on a purple background. And it's all about daily emotions. So I think it's really important as a school counselor, as a teacher, to just have these open conversations about emotions and how it changes across the day. And all emotions are okay to have, and just validate that with your students. So I made a selection of 6 different emotions here that I feel across the day. Of course, in the morning, I'm feeling tired, so I chose blue to represent that color. Happy when I get to see my students and play games. And next I said nervous, going into a class and pulling a student if they're busy working on something, especially in older class, it can make me feel a bit nervous. Loved, when I get home, having the company of my cats and my partner, my friends, makes me feel loved. Relaxed, when we get home from work, we're usually feeling quite relaxed and just have that downtime. Also might be feeling a little bit bored if we don't have certain tasks to do in the evening or nothing to watch on TV, for example. So with my students, I get them to go through and choose their emotions. I have a zones of regulation chart in my office where students can look at the different emotions and the color zones that go along with that. And we usually use that to base what they're saying as well. So some other emotions, I'll do this together with you, that the students might be feeling that they've mentioned to me in the last few days have been often tired in the morning. So we'll use tired again. Often silly or like friendly. They've also mentioned excited at school. They've also mentioned angry sometimes with their siblings, or just not being able to figure out something at school. Angry, and they also mention bored a lot as a feeling, to be honest. So I selected 6 new emotions here, and then you would just choose the colors with your students. So maybe that fits in with the zones of regulation. So for example, for the zones of regulation, red is angry or mad. So then for my key, I would color in red for angry. And in the zones of regulation, happy or like friendly would be green zone. So I would encourage them to find a green to color their key for friendly or happy, like so. And tired would be a blue zone feeling. We're going very slow. So then they would choose blue. For silly is usually like a yellow zone feeling, silly or excited. Could both be yellow. And bored is actually a blue zone emotion, but I'll choose gray for bored because to me, gray is kind of a color that you might choose for feeling bored. And you can let them use their own imagination here too. So for part 2 of the activity, I get students to divide up those lines, as I mentioned, of how much they feel that emotion across the day. And as a school counselor, you get a lot of really good information there about a student and how they're feeling and different feelings they need to work on. For example, if they color a big portion of their head red for angry, then that's something that I want to work on as a counselor and teach them some anger management skills. If a lot of their head is colored something to do orange, something to do with anxiety or worries or feeling nervous, then I know as a school counselor that's something I really want to work on, and just teaches them that kind of reflection piece. So that's one activity I've been doing this week for World Mental Health Week. And a second activity I've tried is just designing your own t-shirt for World Mental Health Day. What would you put on a t-shirt if you could deliver one positive message to other students, and you could display these in the hallway as a teacher to encourage those positive thoughts and those positive affirmations. So the example I have here, I chose I am strong, or you could choose something like everyone makes mistakes, or one day at a time. So just finding those positive words and messages for students. So I'll make that available for you from my Teachers Pay Teachers website, and it's a free resource if you wanted to try that out with your class, if you're a teacher, or at home as a parent. I think I do have a couple questions now, so I'll answer those and then we'll wrap it up for today. What can students do to help their friends who are being cyberbullied? So I like to talk with my students about the bystander effect in bullying situations. So the bystander is that other friend that's there when the student's being bullied and watches it. They're the person in the background. So they need to be ready to kind of speak up for their friend and mediate kind of the situation. So I would encourage those friends that are around in the cyberbullying situation to speak up and to tell an adult or to tell someone at school that this is occurring and really impacting students' mental health. So to come forward as a bystander. Thank you for that question. Is cyberbullying more common than in-person bullying nowadays? I believe it is more common because, as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, there's so many kids with phones now, even in elementary schools, that have phones and have the apps like Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, and they are doing those online bullyings, and it's really unfortunate and really has an impact on the kids' mental health. In-person bullying, don't get me wrong, is still happening, but I do feel like cyberbullying may be happening more often than we even think or even realize at the school level, because often this is after school hours and parents are having to deal with these bullying situations and get the children together to talk them through. And yeah, that's just something that I think towards, and that parents need more resources and more tips on how to deal with these situations, this cyberbullying. So that's why I really recommend those few resources I will post in the comments section. All right. What does a young person do if their bully threatens them that they're going to talk to an adult about what's going on? If the bully is going to talk to an adult or the person being bullied? I think that would be a good thing if an adult was getting involved. If both parties are both doing the bullying, then I think both parents should get them together to talk about that scenario. I would be careful in how the child frames it, saying that they need to go to an adult for support because they feel unsafe or something to that regard, or just not even threatening or saying it in the text message or online comment or in the chat room. I would just go to the adult. I wouldn't even say anything about going to an adult to the bully, just because that might trigger them to say even more things or to try and manipulate even more. Or if it's an online predator, it might encourage them to even further try and manipulate and get those images and whatnot. So I would just go straight to an adult if I was a victim in that scenario. Something else I wanted to bring up is online gaming. There's a lot more online games for kids now, so I think that's a safety area that we really need to look out at as well, is those chat rooms and online games. And just be aware of the online games our kids are playing. Another question here. What if the bullying gets worse once an adult has been told because the bully uses it against the victim? That's when I think, especially if it's between two similar age kids or kids that are in school, that you need to involve the school at that point and the school staff, like the principal and vice principal, to give those consequences and kind of mediate those conversations between the bully and the victim. So that's what I would recommend if it was getting worse, is to involve the school for help. What can teachers do to help students who are being bullied? They can encourage them to report it. There's also some anonymous reporting websites through Erase Bullying where students can anonymously report bullies online, and so that the school or the person can be dealt with. So I would recommend just having those posters up in your classroom and making students aware that they do have an option to report and where they would go to report that. So check out the Erase Bullying website, and they have an anonymous place that you can message for if you need support and there is a bully that's been bothering a student persistently. So I think just making those resources available and aware, and just having conversations and lessons around cyberbullying in your classroom, whether that be through Kids in the Know, whether that be through videos of your own choice, activities of your own choice, or the Friends for Life Skills program textbooks. Just asking your school counselor as a teacher about those resources, because we're knowledgeable of all kinds of different resources that maybe you didn't even know about. So teachers, reach out to your school counselors, and we're here to support you and your students in these important lessons around mental health. All right, so I think that's about it. That's all I have for today. And as I mentioned, I'll post all those great resources in the comment section for you. And follow me on Instagram at _passionate_counselor. And I'll be posting images later on today of all those different resources for you to check out. And my Facebook page is Lynsey Henry RCC. If you're interested in those resources, they'll also be posted on Facebook. And once again, watch out for our new Stigma-Free Wellness Toolkit coming very soon to you. And I'm really excited to work with teachers and my school in sharing all those awesome resources. And we can't wait to share with you at Stigma-Free Society. So thank you everyone, and take care.